Hi, it's Dr. JJ here on the set of Home and Family, and I want to continue our conversation about measles. We in California right now are encountering an epidemic or an outbreak. It's a small outbreak, but it's significant because the numbers of cases are growing weekly and extending now outside of our borders to 6 other states and also to Mexico. Compared with the late 80s, we have a small number of cases, but it's just so important for us to contain this beast before it blows up and becomes very, very significant. How do we do that? Well, by vaccinating. So let me give you some facts about the MMR, or measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. First of all, for those of you who have immunized your children, thank you. And you do it at age 1 and age 5. If you have not immunized your child, chances are it's because you might have read a lot of things in the internet about a study years ago that was published in Lancet by Dr. Andrew Wakefield, wherein he tried to connect measles, mumps, rubella vaccine with autism. This scared the bejesus out of everybody in this country, and unfortunately a lot of celebrities hopped on the bandwagon, testified in front of Congress to affirm what was thought to be a valid study. What you probably don't know is that Dr. Wakefield has been fired. He's been discredited. It was found out that he was paid to do this study by anti-vaccine concerns in England. And all this research that you thought was great, that is embedded in the internet and seems to live on forever, is actually false research. And many, many, many good valid studies now have disproven his theory about measles, mumps, rubella vaccine being linked to autism. And many, many studies now show that the MMR vaccine is safe and very effective. It's so important to immunize your children against measles. Here's the reason why. You hear about herd immunity. If you choose not to immunize your child, you may think, well, everybody else is immunized, so my child's going to be perfectly fine. Well, here in California and in a lot of communities where people's vaccination rates are very low, if you have less than 94% of people in your neighborhood or in your community who are immunized, if you go below 94%, the chances are you're going to have an outbreak like we do in California right now. So it's incumbent upon us. It's really our ethical and central focal purpose in life to not only be good to ourselves, but be good to everybody else. And so from that standpoint, I urge you all to immunize. The side effects of the vaccine are minimal. I mean, maybe 5% of kids may get a low-grade fever that's easily treated with fever relievers for a day or two after the vaccine. About 3% of kids may get a light little rash a week later with a little bit of swollen glands behind their ears. Again, insignificant compared to the magnitude of what measles can do to your child, including the chance of death, which is 1 to 2%. So keep these facts in mind, have that conversation with your doctor, reconsider if you haven't immunized, and really look at the greater good, as well as one other fact. When you make a choice not to immunize your child, you are making the choice for other children too, and I'll give you an example of what that means. If you don't immunize your child and you walk into a doctor's office and your child has measles, and there are parents sitting there with children under the age of 1 who have yet to get their vaccine because they're too young, you've made the choice to potentially infect all those other children. And so your choice has gone beyond your own child, and the greater good has not been met. So think about that long and hard. Obviously the choices you make for your children are your own, but information is power, and information also gives you good health and better health for your children. So I wish you well. I know it's not going to be the good news you all want to hear, but I think for most of you, if 94% of you or 95% of you really think about this and immunize your kids, the herd is going to be safe again, and we'll all be good. Thanks a lot.